Hello, Steve from Marshmallow here. A few people have asked me in the past, sort of this year, if I've got any YouTube tutorial videos, and there's two videos on my channel for Marshmallow, which is pretty pitiful given today's climate and how many videos people tend to put out on a daily basis. And I think it was more lack of time that's sort of not giving me the ability to do so. So I sat down and I was sort of writing a script for a few videos, and I was thinking, I can waffle, I can speak, and hopefully some of the things I say will be informative. Some of the things I'm doing might be new to you, and I think for me, the biggest benefit for me is I've got a lot of free time at the moment. I'm freelancing down in South Wales, so this is going to be a great way to keep me up to date. And also, I think doing tutorial videos is a great way to sort of find gaps in your skill set, I guess. To sort of revisit what you do know and I guess remember a few things. But in this video, you can see there's a picture of three characters put together using Illustrator and Photoshop. Lunk, Budzo and Sam. They're for a game idea concept that I'm just messing around with at the moment. It's nothing in production. I'm not working with anyone on it. But they were predominantly made in Illustrator in terms of their wireframes, how they were sort of concepted up. And they're really basic. You can see that they're nothing, they're nothing special. But the overall feel is there. I think that's what I wanted to get across. And there's certain gameplay elements which tie into each of the characters. So you've got Budzo on the left. If he's happy, it shows a dollar sign in his face. If he's unhappy, it shows a lightning strike, that kind of thing, because he doesn't talk. You've got Sam, the clever guy, who does all the talking, not much of the fighting, and he does all the planning for the bank heists that they do. This is what these guys do. They're businessmen by day, but then by night they're bank robbers. Not very good ones. And then Lunk, you've got the big muscle guy. He's the guy who basically stands at the door and takes the bullets off the police while Budzo crams all the money into a bag and Sam's waiting in a helicopter somewhere. That was all just made up. I haven't written that down anywhere. But that was the whole concept of the game, just to give a little bit of background. So it's kind of haphazard, happy-go-lucky, daft. I think that's the main feel of what I was doing with these concepts. So anyway, this is the finished piece. It's just a quick concept piece. But what I wanted to do was run through how Budzo was made. I'm just going to get that open for you now. Here we go. So like I say, the first character is Budzo. And it all started here, literally in Illustrator. And you can see how simplistic it is. I'm just going to copy this in to this file just so we can see the translation from the wireframe to the finished piece. So you can see which elements have been added in Photoshop wise, and it's mainly texture. The color information, gradients, tie, the wave effect, and that kind of thing is all done in Illustrator, and it's really easy to do, to be honest. So let's have a look at how I put it together. So if you're new to Illustrator, I've pressed tab just to move the interface out of the way, just so we can see what's on the actual canvas at the moment. So I press tab and this brings up the interface. I'm not going to go through every detail of the program because I don't think, this is my personal opinion, I don't think a lot of people want to know that. I think sometimes they know they can learn that themselves passively just by practice and just by use, and I respect that. There's some people who need a little bit of help with it, and that's great. There's hundreds of tutorials out there, and this isn't one that's built for beginners, I would say. And when I say beginner, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean it in terms of somebody who's never used Illustrator before. So let's have a look at the elements that make this design. So in the toolbar, we've got ellipses. So essentially, Budzo is made of ellipses and lines. And if you think back to primary school, or if you ever bought a drawing book, it would always discuss drawing in terms of I think it was eggs and sausages. It was a way to help you remember. And the eggs would be the ellipses. So pressure points, elbows, fingers, digits, and that kind of thing. And the sausages would be the lines in terms of curvature and the connection between fixture points, I guess. So I'm going to employ the same process I did with Budzo and create a new character and just sort of talk about what I'm doing along the way. I guess that'll be okay. So I just press P on the keyboard to get the pen tool open. Pen tool is also over here in the toolbar. And a lot of people get stumped with the pen tool. Is a quick tutorial, okay? Clicking and moving, just clicking and moving, no click and dragging, creates straight lines from A to B, A to B, A to B. Each of these little nodes are points, anchor points or end points. They've got many different names these days, but I call them nodes from years ago in Fireworks. And you can select these if you press A on the keyboard, or you can go to your sub-selection tool in the toolbar, direct selection tool is called, and you can move these nodes around. It's pretty cool. And you can also nudge these nodes with the arrow keys on the keyboard. You won't be able to see this moving because I've got my keyboard increments set to very small, just so I can do minute adjustments. But if you hold shift, you can make it jump by bigger increments. So this is I've got this set up for real fine tuning. So if it's for a logo or something that's going to be visually scrutinized or something that's quite high res, you need to be quite, what would you say? You need to have an element of care, I guess. So you don't want any, like this bit here, I mean, it's just a concept, but having these lines coming outside of the motif, it wouldn't work on a sticker. So you can use the arrow keys, just nudge it in just the right amount. Yeah. So that's straight lines. Ending a path is basically where you close off point A and B. A will always be A, but B is going to keep moving, obviously, the more nodes you put in. So this is A, B, 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 A. Yeah. Let's delete those. Same principle with what's called Bezier lines, or I'm thinking it's pronounced Bezier, I'm not sure, but basically curves. So if you click once and then click and drag, you'll notice that this little extra tool appears on the B node. And you can actually manipulate this. If you press A again for your sub-selection tool, you can press the little blue dot. You can actually change the curve. A lot of people will know this. If you wanted to join them back together, join them back together, obviously it's as easy as just doing that. But then you'll find point B is a Bezier curve. So from B to A, it's going to generate the exact same. If you wanted to get rid of that, it's simple, really. Whoops. It's not simple at all. Oh, I've only got 2 nodes, so I can't show you that. But let's go back a second. So say if we wanted to do a shape, and we wanted it to curve in like this, but then we want this to be mirrored. If you try and do that, you're going to get almost like a cul-de-sac effect going on the inside. So before you do it, if you want a sharp point, so let's pretend we're making a bum. You click on the node once you see the little V icon appear, and it'll change it from a Bezier to a sharp endpoint. And it'll give you that bum shape that we're going for. Obviously, let's just edit that. Yeah. Do you know what? I've been using Illustrator for years, and I'm still not sure why this happens. If anyone knows why this happens, I'm pretty sure it might be down to the stroke weight or one of these stroke types. But it's eluded me for years, and I've always avoided doing anything like this because I end up having to just, if you watch this, you click on the node, you can nudge it around, and you see it starts to get smaller, but then you start losing the shape on the other side. So it's frustrating. Maybe it's something that people just put up with. Maybe somebody knows. That'd be great if somebody could let me know and let everybody else know. Okay, so excuse me. Let's go back. So now I kind of went through that really fast. That was about 3 minutes talking about the pen tool. Ideally, you would spend a bit more time learning about all the different elements to the pen tool, but what I've just shown you is all you need to know in terms of just practicing, and it's all I use. Okay, so we've got our ellipse here. We're going to make a new character. We're just going to do it really quickly. So I've got smart guides turned on for just before we begin, so you can see green lines appear wherever you move the pen tool, and whichever object is it's closest to, it's going to generate lines which are showing you. So the center point of the ellipse there. If I wanted to, like I did with Budzo, I did the exact same thing. So I'll show you what I did. So we move the pen tool so that it's right in line with the center. Move it over to the other side so it's right in line with the center again. There. Click and drag. And you kind of wanting to get this central, I guess. That was a lucky guess. So it is central. And that's going to give us the face of the character. Let's put in some of the eyes that are sort of unique to this style. I'll come over here and get rid of the fill, just because we're just going to wireframe this character for now. Let's put in maybe like what's going to become the mouth part. Maybe this guy's got a little bit extra in terms of gear, so he's got like a mask on or something like that. So we're just going to denote that. So I'm using that technique from before, just the difference being now I'm using curve lines. So A, remember A is always first one, B, click and drag, creating your curve line. So say I'm not really liking the face of this character, but let's just go with it anyway. So I've holding shift to select multiple elements. I'm going to copy this, Control C, and then I'm going to press Control Shift V to paste it directly in place. So in the layers panel, it's pasted it directly above the original selection. And right click it, transform, reflect. Pretty self-explanatory here. Just move this down. So vertical, we'll do it across a vertical mirror line. Horizontal, we'll do it across a horizontal mirror line. So, but we want to reflect it vertically because we want this left half of the face to be reflected on the other side. And press OK on that. I have a habit of pressing Control G on that selection to group it, just so you can easily grab it and drag it over. Arrow keys, just a little minor adjustment. Let's get rid of the fill on that. Okay, so we've got some overlapping elements here, but we're not too worried about that because we're going to thicken up these lines anyway. These are going to start denoting where the frown of this character is, so how angry he is. And this is set to, let's put that above. Control Shift right bracket, should put it above. Tell you what, let's just do a quick swap, put that layer right above so there's no confusion. Get over there. Get over here. There he goes. Let's put that right to the top. Get rid of the fill. There we go. So we've got this is really basic character face. But this is, as you can see, I'll just quickly go through Budzo. I don't have much time left on the capture software that I do have. But this is exactly how I built Budzo together. So it's just using lines to denote the major design elements. So I knew this guy was going to have an eye patch. Every cool guy should have an eye patch, like Governor from Walking Dead. And then moving on, I wanted this guy to, well, initially it was just going to be almost like cell shaded, so black and white. So I gave it quite heavy stroke weights. But then that started to disappear as I moved into the design, so he's got a little bit of stitching here to fix the eye patch on. I gave him a tie. The tie looked a little bit too straight, so I used made a basic shape and then used stylized round corners to give it that wave effect. And then just refinements. So moving down to this stage is a shading stage. So same again, just shape after shape, different colors, different transparencies. And then gradients. So unfortunately I don't have enough time to go through how I got to this stage, which is really disappointing because a lot of people know how to use a pen tool, but hopefully I'll do another video soon. And for those people who ask me, do I have videos on the YouTube channel? I really do want to have some on there so you guys can just see what I do. You know, I guess it would be interesting for me to do that. Anyway, if you did watch, really thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Give us a like and share it about. Thank you.